Hey, it's PhilzGoodMan, and lately I've been messing around with Krunker's performance settings. It's something that I just do every once in a while, but it's pretty clear that the in-game options for tuning the graphics settings are pretty limited. So I'm looking towards other third-party options, in particular NVIDIA's GPU settings. So sorry in advance if you don't have an NVIDIA GPU. However, if you have an AMD GPU, a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be covering in this video is also going to apply to you via AMD settings. And if you're on Intel or other integrated graphics cards, your options are definitely going to be more limited. Some of the concepts you might still find useful. Now, this is not a performance benchmark, but I'm going to be highlighting a few things that you should definitely try out. There's going to be 4 main topics in this video. It's going to be FPS Limiter, Sharpening, Anti-Aliasing, and Low Latency mode. So first topic is going to be FPS Limiter, and personally I've always limited my FPS in games. If you're wondering why limit the FPS, it's because that you can get more stable performance by limiting the FPS. If you have your FPS uncapped, it's going to put a lot of strain on GPU. I tried to limit my FPS in Krunker, but the in-game FPS limiter gave me a lot of lag and stuttering. The good news is that NVIDIA came out with an FPS limiter of their own, and a lot of people are saying that this is better than the FPS limiters that are typically found in-game because it introduces like less lag and less stuttering. So to get it, all you have to do is update the driver. As long as you have the latest version of the game ready driver, it should be available to you. And then after you do that, you can right-click on the desktop. On the left-hand bar, click on the Manage 3D Settings tab. So you can either manage the settings in the Global Settings tab or the Individual Program Settings tab. The individual program settings did work with Krunker, so I do recommend doing that so you don't mess up your other games when you're testing stuff out. And so far I did have pretty good luck using the FPS limiter, and this is really great if you're doing recording while playing the game, because what I found is that in longer gaming sessions I would definitely take a hit to the performance. So this will help to stabilize things without introducing too much lag. Another setting that was recently released with the Game Ready driver update is the sharpening feature. And in the past, I didn't really mess around with sharpening too much in games, but I have done a fair amount of photo editing. As a final touch, it's always nice to add a little bit of sharpening. Really improves visibility. So I found this to be beneficial in Krunker as well. And if you have the setting on too high, it looks really, really weird. So just experiment with the sharpening. And personally, I use a sharpening value of 0.4. The film grain setting helps to reduce games that have film grain effect that you can't turn off. For example, Call of Duty has the film grain. I believe you might be able to turn it off though. But anyways, that's what the film grain setting is for, so I leave it at 0. There's another setting, GPU scaling, which is really, really cool, and it's something that I need to test out a lot more. But it's basically the opposite of super sampling. So what it does is whatever resolution you set your game at, say 1024 by 768, and you have the GPU scaling setting turned on, what it will do is render the game in 1024 resolution and then scale it up to native resolution of your monitor. So like 1920 by 1080, for example. So in theory, this might give you a huge boost in performance if you set your resolution low. And in my testing so far, it seems super promising, but do remember that's also counteracted by the processing power it takes to do the upscaling. So the next setting has been available for a long time. I just never really messed around with it, and that's FXAA. And it's a post-processing technique, and it actually works pretty much on anything. So you can even use it on like the Windows desktop. And it also does work in Krunker. And I think that it works really well in conjunction with the image sharpening setting, because what the image sharpening does is that although it makes the image look better and sharper, it also introduces aliasing. The good news is that you can have the setting turned on without it hitting your performance too much. The last setting to check out is going to be low latency mode, and I'm not going to try to explain it, I'll just read this one. So it says the latency control reduces latency by limiting the number of frames the CPU can prepare before the frames are processed by the GPU. So there is 3 different settings. So there's the off setting, there's the on setting, and there's the ultra setting. And basically what this means is that the GPU is preparing the frames ahead of time. So it's basically looking ahead and trying to figure out what the next frame is going to be. So that stabilizes the performance and makes for a better image quality. But it also increases the amount of input lag. So actually changing the setting on or off does make a big difference in input lag. Currently, I'm really liking the feeling of it on Ultra. It does seem like there's a bit of screen tearing when I turn this on, but overall the mouse feels a lot more responsive and smooth. So definitely check out low latency mode. So you can see here, these are the NVIDIA settings that I use for Krunker. I have a GTX 1080, but you really do need to test these out yourself because everyone has a different system and they also have different preferences. If you have an AMD GPU, I believe a lot of these options are also going to be available to you in AMD settings. And if you're on Chrome or a MacBook, I'm sorry, but if you do know some graphics tweaks for Chrome or MacBook, just let me know in the comments. I think a lot of people would find it useful as well. So anyways, I hope you guys found this video helpful or interesting. This is a really nice discovery for myself at least, and definitely found some boosts in performance. If you're wondering about the sounds in the video, I have been modding the Krunker sounds. So I think I've done the sniper rifle, assault rifle, and the revolver so far, and I am working on a PhilzGood sound mod, but it is a work in progress. So if you like it, just stay tuned. And we've hit 8,000 subscribers, so thank you guys so much for liking, subscribing, and commenting on my videos. I really, really appreciate it. So this has been PhilzGoodMan. Hope you guys have an amazing day.